So for this first phase, I think we're targeting around 294,000 people for each and every of the states affected. But beyond the states, you know, in like the governor of Kaduna State, the governor said, it's beyond for the president. It's beyond resettlement. It's about giving dignity to human life, which is enshrined in subsection 34 of our Constitution, the right to end the dignity of things. So, and it was a commitment he made during the campaigns. But look, for each and every life here in Nigeria, there's going to be meaning given to your life. And so for Mr. President, it's about giving succor, it's about giving life, it's about giving meaning. And in his address, he said, look, we'll give you the powers to dream. Be like every other human being. No indignations. And if again you take it further to the United Nations International Organization for Migration, put the total number of displaced persons in Nigeria at 3 million. Now 3 million to you, given our total population of about 250 million or so, you might just take it off and say, what is 3 million people? But the funny thing, like I did say earlier in some other interviews, is like, look, Rwanda, with all its bragging rights and everything, has a total population of 14.4 million people. So if our entire nation has a population of 14.4 million people, imagine you pulling out 3 million people from that workforce. It's a total crash, given the fact that, look, you'll be putting into cognizance the effect it will have on the national workforce, national productivity, the effect
the national economy.
On the national economy. So for Mr. President, it is key. And seeing the Vice President, who is such a devoted gentleman, a man who left track records, don't forget that it was during his time in Borno State, while as a governor, that he, for the very first time in the history of Nigeria, set up the commission, the Ministry for Resettlement and Rehabilitation in Borno State. Because of the key, his commitment, and we had a lot of folks being moved back, houses being built, schools being built back, and then we had a lot of people taken back. So that now you hardly have any IDP camps in Borno State, because of course the successor of Professor Umar built on it. So you have two leaders with the right trajectory, with the half frame of mind, with the leadership skill, with the right concern, saying no, this will not be. And for the states, on the 7 states that have been claimed, basically you have Kebbi, you have Sokoto, you have Katsina, you have Niger, you have Benue, you have Zamfara, you have Sokoto states and Kaduna, of course. Now, for Benue and Niger states, these clearly are not states that are in the Northwest, right? But for the sense of inclusivity, like the Vice President would always say, Benue State, for instance, quoting the same International Organization for Migration, has about 2 million displaced persons, given the herders and farmers clash that has taken its toll on that state. And so there was a need to urgently bring them in this first phase. Same too for Niger states, where the effect of banditry has been enormous, displacing quite a number of folks in that area. So there was need to bring them in this particular phase. So the beauty of this project is that it's a national project. It is starting with the Northwest. Gradually it is going to go to the North Central, gradually to the Southeast, gradually to the Southwest, gradually to the South-South, encompassing a national agenda, a broad-based agenda. And this is the drive, this is the passion, this is the promise, this is the vision of Mr. President.
Do the people you intend to resettle, do they have the buy-in into this program? And I'm asking because you intend to resettle victims back to their original home, where, areas that are still vulnerable to conflict, attacks, and all that. So how are you going to assure them of their safety in a place where they have fled from?
No, yes, but don't forget that this is a holistic program that has taken into cognizance, like the governor said. You have schools being built, you have clinics being built. He's setting up empowerment schemes for them. And then, of course, very importantly, very cogent.
These are support services to enable them live normal lives. But what about the issue? What about the issue of vulnerability to attacks?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We have security. Security is key. And in each of these particular structures, there is a police station attached in them. There are army units being fashioned into this settlement. So the government is aware of that. If you look at the project, right, you would see that, look, security, these were factors that were taken into place when setting up this. So you have security, which is paramount. There is a police station to be built in each and every of these particular resettlement phases. You must have, it's a must, provisions for security, not just security police stations. You must also provide accommodations for security people there. Our military are going to be there. So it's an all-encompassing scheme. But guess what? Beyond the presence of security too is the drive too by Nigerians. Is the drive by displaced persons. The drive to look away, to now own the scheme themselves. That look, if we have been in this phase, never again shall we go back to this phase. And if you look at it, too, the import of education comes in. And I remember the vice president saying that, look, we're going to be building model schools that are going to be driven by technology. And if you look at the short-term effect, the long-term effect of school, of getting a boy who had never hitherto been educated, his psyche is already distorted. But when you give such a boy education, the opportunity to go to school, you've changed his vision for life. You're giving him the power to dream, which the president did state. And what you've done for that young boy or young girl is to give him the hook to fish in life.
All right,
and there's nothing more than that.